Tell me about what you think about NASA's moon mission.
Oh, no problem. I'm kind of excited to see what we're going to be talking about, and yeah.
Have you heard about NASA's moon plan?
Honestly, I have not. But I'd like to look more into it. It sounds very interesting. So, yeah.
So this is, between now and the end of December 2024, there's 1,832 more days.
Okay. Are you excited for them?
I am excited. Do you know why I'm excited?
Why are you excited?
I'm excited because in that time, NASA is supposed to land the first woman and the next man on the moon. So I'm basically going around and finding out if people have heard that NASA plans to send people to the moon again in 2024. And I was wondering if you had heard about this.
I have not.
Yes, I know it. I have read it somewhere. And if possible, if I can go, I will be very happy to go there.
Oh, you would go to the moon if you could?
I like to go. I would like to go there.
Wow, that would be fantastic. What do you think it would be like to be standing
Because
on the
I know
moon?
there is no gravity and I want to walk over there. I will fly just like that.
Well, okay, I'll be honest with you. I haven't. The closest I've heard is like Elon Musk, like his plan with SpaceX, trying to get civilizations on Mars, basically.
Okay.
I don't know if it's something similar to that. Honestly, like I'm just going off of what I heard like before, basically.
They plan, a woman has never walked on the moon. And
It's time for that to change.
That's what they're planning to do in 2024, the first woman. And I was wondering, what do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think it's time for women to make moon history.
In 2024, the first woman is supposed to step foot on the moon.
Oh, okay.
And the next man. Because last time we went, it was all...
About men.
All men. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, all men test pilots. So they were like from the Air Force, the
That
Navy.
will be a proud moment for us.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's nice.
so
I'm
you-
excited.
I think I have nothing against it. It's a great idea. I feel like NASA is trying to do more to like integrate everything, like make it more, more for everyone. And I feel like it's a great idea, and I'm all for it.
Do you remember the last time we went to the moon?
No.
No.
I feel like I should after all the Space Society meetings, but I don't.
Okay. Let's see. Do you know the last time we sent people to the moon?
I do not.
It was back in 1972.
Oh, really?
Does that surprise you at all?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I figured they'd do it more once they accomplish their goal to get there.
Yeah. They decided to save some money, and then we had the shuttle and space station and stuff like that. But what do you think about it?
I guess it'll be good. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good thing or a waste of money or?
I think it's a good thing. Maybe we can find out more.
And
Yes, I was very young, but I was very happy. How you people have made Americans to go there and how they will live there. So it is a great effort for the Americans. I appreciate it.
Actually, SpaceX, there's a Japanese billionaire who's paid SpaceX to fly him and a group of like 7 to 9 artists around the moon in 2023.
That's amazing.
It's called the Der Moon Project.
Der Moon Project.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's pretty inspirational. I think if they pull that off, then they will definitely play a bigger part in getting people to the moon. Because people will be like, well, you already got them around the moon. Now you just have to get them down to the surface. You could do that.
Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Would you believe 1972?
Oh, wow.
I know. In fact, our current NASA administrator is the only NASA administrator that was born after the time that we went to the moon. Like, he's like the only one that doesn't have those memories.
That's, wow. Yeah. That's like kids growing up in the technology age, just not knowing what it was like before.
Now, if you could go to the moon, would you?
I wish it will be me, but I don't have a strong heart to do all this. So I don't know. I enjoy more seeing all that in TV or hear more about stuff, but it will be challenging for me.
So you talk about the environment and, gas cars being a source of pollution, and electric cars would fix that, at least for versus gas cars. In terms of poverty, what do you think should be done about poverty? I mean, like, what's the problem there?
3 things you need is oxygen, food, and a shelter.
Okay.
Like I think that should be covered up before poverty. And once that's solved, then we can move on from there.
I don't actively go find information on space or like actively go like research about it, but whenever like at your space meetings, like whenever people are talking about like what's happened and what people are planning on doing, that interests me. It's just not something that I actively go out.
Now, one of NASA's big plans, last time they sent only like men test pilots. Mm-hmm. They didn't send any women. They didn't send anybody other than like white people and what have you. So this time they plan to actually send the first woman to the moon in 2024. It's like
Awesome.
a big thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be like a big accomplishment, or?
I think so for the women, yeah.
Yes, I was in Punjab, India,
Uh-huh.
and I was working as a teacher there.
Oh, what'd you
Yes.
teach?
I did science.
Oh.
I am a science teacher.
From then on, basically, it's like we walked on the moon. Why don't we take it further? Basically, space exploration sounds just amazing. Like, you know, I think like I remember seeing like a bunch of like school projects basically about like, you know, if you could take like a week vacation on the moon. That's like something like a child to think, you know, you're a kid, you're like, oh yeah, going to the moon sounds amazing. And like we're coming to 2024 and it's actually just becoming a reality basically. So I think that's really cool. It's definitely going to be a lot of hard work, honestly. But, you know, can you just imagine just like telling your relatives basically like at dinner table, like, oh yeah, I went to Venice, I went to Greece. You could just be like, oh, I went to the moon for a holiday. So that would just be a really like amazing idea, honestly.
Any future astronauts in your school?
I haven't heard necessarily astronauts, but engineers that work on spacecraft I've heard of, and the study of, you know, things in space, but not necessarily going to the moon or space traveling.
If you were to send somebody to the moon and you wanted them to be able to share that experience with as many people as possible, what kind of background would you want that person to have?
As you already said, right? They have less emotions and maybe more knowledge. I'm sure they have more knowledge, and that should be the background. You should be more knowledgeable to do all that stuff, and you should be really, you know, confident and more strong in all perspective. Like,
And then SpaceX is working on the Starship, which can carry 100, 200 people at a time. And it's completely reusable. And they're talking about they could get you halfway around the world in 30 minutes and for the price of a first class ticket on an airline.
Wow.
But as part of the top part of that, you'll actually be in space. And
So just like that arc?
Yeah, on the arc.
Oh, wow.
And so you'll be able to see like the curvature of the Earth and the blackness of space. So would you do any of these?
Nope.
No.
I would not personally. What I think it's not necessary for me yet. Would I like to do it? Of course I would, but not now. I would like. It's like how cars started out. Not everyone went for it first. Like they kind of like got into ease and they got better.
Right.
So I like the concept of it, but I would wait.
Would you take a space vacation if it was like affordable? Like, would you get into a rocket and go into orbit and spend a week?
If I'm with friends or family, yes. Alone, I think I'm too chicken to do it.
But you would do a family and
if it was affordable, yeah.
Would you go to the moon?
Yeah.
How about Mars?
It's like a once in a lifetime. Yeah.
Even though that may take you 2 years.
Maybe not then.
It needs to be like a week or two.
Maybe like max like a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to go to the moon if you could?
Oh, no.
No?
No, I'm gonna
You're
stay
happy here on
yeah,
Earth?
I'm here on Earth. Yeah, I'll stay here.
SpaceX is known because they've developed some reusable rockets. So their rockets go up, or at least the first stage does, and then come back down and land, and they refuel them and can reuse them.
Okay.
And so they don't have to cost as much per flight because
You can use them again.
again and again.
Yes.
So instead of spending another, 50, 60, 70 million to produce another first stage,
Yes.
you
It's
spend
very
a few hundred
Very
thousand.
good step. Yes, I never knew it. So it's a good step.
What are some benefits that you think we'll get out of exploring the moon that would help us on Earth?
That's a very good question. Like, obviously, coming from an environmental perspective, like, there's the risk of global warming, climate change, the depletion of resources. I believe, like, space exploration on the moon could provide, like, I'm sure there's definitely really amazing, like, people have already, like, made scientific articles about, like, amazing resources on moon that can be transported on Earth, obviously. So I think that'll be really good.
Do you know how many people have walked on the moon?
I have no idea, but if I had to like guess, I would say maybe 12.
12 is exactly the right number.
Yay!
Yes, I am bringing you on any guessing game that we have.
Oh, well, yay! I got it right.
Yes,
I
12.
don't know how.
And do you know how many of them were geologists?
A 0.
Of one.
One. Okay.
One.
Yeah.
Harrison Schmitt, who actually also became a congressman. So China landed a rover on the far side of the moon in January.
Okay.
And it's actually still operating, which is amazing because where it landed during the daytime is 200 degrees Celsius, but at the nighttime it's negative 200 degrees Celsius.
Oh my gosh, extreme.
Extreme. And the moon goes through these cycles. A day on the moon is 14 Earth days of sunlight and 14 Earth days of night. Because, the moon goes through its cycle every 28 days.
Right, yes.
And so it's had to go through this fluctuation, almost 12 times at this point, and it's still working.
Wow.
Most things, whenever it comes to like the lunar night, it gets too cold and they stop working, and that's that.
Wow. So that was about the China mission.
The China mission.
One thing is that it's not really affordable yet. When you say $250,000 for a ticket, that's not something a lot of people are willing to pay to go to space.
And this is like the Virgin Galactic ones, the 250. But the SpaceX, 30-minute flight from one point to another point.
That was good. That was
like 10,000 or 15,000. That might be. Okay. Would you celebrate? Like they take off 3 days later, they're ready to land on the moon. Would you like have a big party, or would it just be kind of like read about it in the newspaper?
I'd just probably read about it. Yeah.
So in 2024, when the first woman steps on the moon, do you plan to celebrate somehow?
Yes, we should.
Oh, what do you think we should do?
We should celebrate in so many ways. We can celebrate the functions. We can call our leaders, and then we can have a debate on it, and we show the pictures, how we went there, everything. And then fire, etc. we can do.
Let's say in 2024, at your school, and it's a regular school day, and people are landing on the moon.
Okay.
Do you think y'all would like do something special at your school?
Oh yeah. Like if there was a live feed.
In 4K.
Yeah. There are a lot of what we call digital field trips these days, and I like to promote those and things online, like with the Skyping with other kids. And so we've even seen live reindeer for Christmas time at Santa's workshop. So I think having a live feed of moon landing would be real exciting for elementary students.
That's awesome. And this year, they're actually planning to land a rover on Mars that will scoop up 2 kilograms of moon rocks. They'll put it on a rocket on the moon and send it back to Earth.
Oh, okay.
So they call it the lunar return, lunar sample return.
So 2020?
2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when is that?
I would say, would I celebrate? I wouldn't go crazy. I'd be like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Like, that's just me. Like, I know I've seen a lot of cool things happen. When the Cybertruck came out, I kind of went crazy for that. Like, I was researching.
When 2024 comes, you'll definitely look back on this with excitement, honestly. And by the time you see this video, hopefully you'll be seeing this video on the moon, actually, in 2024. So.
What do you think we could do today that would make it better?
Oh, Lord. So I don't want to get too much into climate change, but that's it's a concern that I think needs to be addressed by everybody. And I think carpooling. I think we should do small things that make a big impact over time.
Well, thank you again. Anything last words?
Guys, keep coming to the space meetings, what Nathan and family offers you, because that's really informative and he has great speakers each time. So just that, and best wishes to all of you.